These dainty coconut baskets are a delight to the eyes and oh so delicious. Hi, and you're watching Plating It with Wendy, where I share with you recipes which impress with ease. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, share and comment. And if you haven't subscribed already, press that subscribe button. And while you're at it, if you hit on that bell icon, you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. Now, let's get started. To kickstart our recipe, we're going to make the dough for our sweet mini tarts. For that, we're going to go in with 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Or if you're weighing it, it should weigh about 230 grams. If you're going by the cup measurement, make sure to fluff up and spoon in the flour into the cup measurement. And since these are sweet tarts, we're going to add 1/3 cup of ground white granulated sugar. So that we get a smooth dough, we're going to take it one step further and sift it so that we don't get any lumps. To bring out all the flavors, we're going to go in with 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're going to give this a whisk so that all gets well distributed. To the dry ingredients, we're going to add 1/2 cup of butter. And we're going to use chilled butter here because we want a flaky pastry. Now using a pastry cutter, or you can use your fingers, but a pastry cutter is better because there's heat from your fingers. We're going to cut the butter into the flour till we get a sand-like texture. You could even use 2 knives to do this if you wanted. And this sand-like texture is what you're looking for. We're going to keep this aside and mix up our wet ingredients. For the wet ingredients, we're going to go in with 1 egg, and I'm using a chilled egg here. And we're going to flavor it with 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. For a little decadence, we're going to go in with 1 tablespoon of fresh cream. But if you don't have fresh cream on hand, you could always substitute with 1 tablespoon of cold milk or cold water. Now let's whisk this together and break up the egg. Now that the egg has broken up and all the ingredients have got mixed up well together, let's add it to the dry ingredients. So now we're going to pour it in, and using the spatula, we're going to gradually bring it together. Okay, now it's time to put it onto our work surface and bring it to a smooth dough. Just going to put it down. Now gently let's go in with our clean hands and bring the dough together. We're going to do it as quick as we can so that the heat of our hands does not melt the butter. See how beautifully it's coming together? And once it all comes together, you're going to get a lovely, smooth, soft dough. Now we're going to cut it up into 2 portions, just eyeballing them. And we're going to put these into plastic wraps and refrigerate it for at least 2 hours, or overnight is best. Just going to take 1 bit, place it in the plastic wrap and cover it up. Now let's take the second bit and wrap that one up. Our dough has now firmed up, so we're going to take just 1 part of it and we're going to roll it out. We want to keep the other one still chilled, so we left it in the refrigerator. We're going to dust just a little flour on our work surface. Now gently, we're just going to roll it out. You want to keep it a little bit thick, but not too thick. About 1/8 thickness. Okay, I think that's good. And this is a 2 1/4 inch diameter tart form. You could even use the bigger one if you wanted. To cut out the disc so that it fits very comfortably in our tart form, we're going to go in with a cookie cutter that's 1 inch bigger in diameter. So now this one is 3 1/4 inch in diameter. To get a clean cut, I like to dip the cookie cutter in some all-purpose flour before cutting out the disc. And that's our first one. Back into the all-purpose flour, and then we go for the second. And now the third. And we're going to take off each disc And we're going to place it in the tart form without stretching it, but making sure it reaches the bottom. And now using my handy dandy tool, I'm going to just press it down so that we get a nice firm bottom. Just going to push the sides too. This is going to ensure that we get the impression of the tart form. We're going to trim off the excess that's sticking on the top. So we're just going to take a knife and gently cut it off. And that's what you want. It's nice if you pinch it up like this and then place it down, and then you can pull it out to reach the sides of the tart form. Now once again we're going to take our handy dandy tool and press it down, and now gently we're going to press it against the sides to get the impression of the tart form. And once again we're going to trim off any excess. Make sure to always have the knife facing in the opposite direction to you. And there you have, your second tart is ready. We're going to bring all the cut out bits together and roll it up once again. We've got 10 tarts from half of the dough. So now we're going to cover it up with a plastic wrap, and we're going to refrigerate it for about 20 minutes so that it gets a chance to firm up before we bake it. Okay, our tartlets have got a chance to firm up. Now we're going to take a fork and just press it down at the bottom. This is going to help any air to escape from it so that we don't get any bubbles in the tarts and the dough stays firm at the bottom. We've got our oven preheating at 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to share with you a hack to get the perfect tarts. We're going to take an empty tart form and press it to the tart that we have filled. We're going to try and match the pattern as we do this, and very gently, but at the same time putting a little pressure, we're going to push it down. This is going to help to prevent the dough from shrinking when baking. For the first part of the baking, we're going to place these in the oven for 4 minutes. Now after 4 minutes, we're going to take it out of the oven and very gently, it's not that hot, so just with our fingertips, we're going to press it down. If you wanted, you could even use kitchen mitts to do this. And we're just going to give it a little press down once again. This is going to prevent any further shrinking of the dough, and you will get perfect tarts. Now let's go and pop it back into the oven for another 6 minutes. After 6 minutes, you'll find that the dough has set and the tarts are pretty firm, but they're still not yet cooked. Now we're going to take off the top tart. And now we're going to pop these back into the oven for another 10 minutes to complete the baking process. The tarts are now baked. We're going to leave it in the tray to cool completely. It's been about 10 to 15 minutes and the tarts have cooled. So let's start unmolding them. Look how easy it is to unmold the tarts and how perfectly they have formed. And now to roll out the handles, we're going to dust just a little bit of flour on the work surface. And we're going to roll this out, and we're going to roll it a little bit thinner than what we rolled it out for the tarts. We're just going to cut it out, and I'm using this pastry cutter so we get a nice shape. Just going to even it out first on the top, and now we're going to even it out at the bottom and up the sides. And now we're going to cut it into about 1/4 inch strips. Now what you're going to do is take a strip, and we're going to use the pastry cutter and cut it down the center and press it down so that it holds firm. We're going to separate the two halves and gently intertwine them to form a rope-like effect. And now we're going to turn it and bring it into a U. And we're going to cut off the edges so that they don't look too big for our mini tarts. The handles for the baskets are all ready. Now let's cover them up with a plastic wrap and pop them into the refrigerator for about 20 minutes before we put them into the oven to bake. Now we're ready to put them into the oven and bake them for 10 minutes. The handles are all baked. Now we're going to leave them on the tray till they cool completely. To make our delicious coconut filling, we're going to go in with 2.5 cups of desiccated coconut. And to that we're going to add just a pinch of salt and give it a quick mix. To sweeten up the desiccated coconut, we're going to go in with 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk. And I always like to add 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now let's mix this together. The condensed milk is going to sweeten the desiccated coconut and also help it to bind. Oh, this is so tempting. Now that it is all mixed well together, we're going to divide it into 3 portions and add in some pretty colors. I've divided the coconut filling into 3 bowls and we're going to color them with green, pink, and we're going to leave some white. And we kept just a little for the white. Now we're using gel food coloring and we want very pastel shades of color, so the safer way to do it is to put drops on a plate and then using a toothpick, we'll just add it into the bowl. Now let's mix this up and then we'll see whether we need to add any more. When you're using gel food coloring, a little goes a long way, so you've got to be really careful when adding it into any of your sweets. I think we've got just the right amount of color in this. You just got to keep mixing it so that the color gets distributed evenly. Okay, it seems like it's well mixed. Now let's move on to the pink color. And once again, we're just going to take a little on the toothpick and dab it on the top. Let's start with this and we can always add more. I think we're going to need some more, so I'm just adding it in right now. Okay, I think the pink too has got evenly mixed. So now let's start filling in our baskets. To fill our baskets, we're going to fill the center with some pink coconut. And then we're going to take some of the green and just put it on the edge. We're trying to get the effect of leaves at the edge of the basket. Just going to add a little bit more pink to top up the basket. And for a little bit of dimension, we're going to add on some white flowers. Just adding on some of the white coconut actually to make it look like different colored flowers in our basket. Just going to spread that around. And we're just going to add a little bit of more green, just a dash, in the center, like there are leaves coming out of the flowers. That looks pretty. Our baskets are all filled and looking beautiful, but for a little extra pizzazz, before we put on the handle, let's add on some silver edible balls. Christmas is all about the silver and gold decorations, so I really like adding a little bit of it to the sweets too. And for the final touch, let's place on the handles. And you don't have to worry about these, they're going to stick firm in the basket. I had made these baskets last year for my Christmas table, and I had so many people requesting for them that I had to make it this year. Oh my goodness, look at that. And now it's time to give our coconut baskets a taste. They look too good to eat, but let's go for it. I'm just going to take this one. Wow. Not sure if you can see the filling right down to the bottom. And it's all that deliciousness. And if you want to enjoy these coconut baskets as much as I do, hop onto my website, platingitwithwendy.com, where you will find the full written recipe. Thanks for watching. See you soon.